Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm Grant from CVT. This evening we're going to be reviewing the Gulfstream 550 version 2 point something of the AKD Studios 550 Gulfstream, and I'm quite looking forward to this. It's going to be an in-depth comprehensive review, so this will take some time, and we will be flying a test sector today. Well, semi-test test sector. I've been doing a few flights in this already. So we're going to fly from Warsaw. Not going to do realistic time, but we will do realistic weather. I'm going to fly down to Chisinau in Moldova. So yeah, this review today is just to get a look at the aircraft, which I so far have had positive impressions of. There are going to be a lot of negatives in this, but overall, I think overall very positive. Very good aircraft for what you get. It's absolutely huge, by the way. This is definitely one of the bigger private jets available on the store, and also sort of suits what I want it for, because it's a cross between the Citation X, I think, and something bigger like a 737. So plenty of room. One of the biggest private jets, I think, on the market. I'm just going to run through some facts. I've gone in the AKD Studios livery. I think this is the best one by far. We're going to go through some things now to do with the actual plane. So let's bring this up for you guys so you can get some interesting information about it. We're going to look through the G550 Gulfstream, just look at some of the stats and specifications. They don't actually come with the plane when you purchase it, which is a shame, but you can always find them on Wikipedia. So anyway, this is the first one flew 2002, and the aircraft received its certification on 2003. It's powered by Rolls-Royce Pearl BR700 engines. It's capacity of 19 passengers with crew, 2 pilots, and I believe 2 cabin attendants, but you don't have to have them. But 19 people, this is absolutely huge. This is considerably bigger than the Citation X, which only fits 8 passengers in it. Going down to a bit more information down here about the general characteristics, you can just see how big it is. So we have a length of 96 feet, wingspan 93. It's 25 feet tall, guys. That's how big this plane is. And it can also have a maximum takeoff weight of 42,000 kg. So this really is in the, I would call it a small airliner. It's obviously a general aviation aircraft. It won't be used for commercial purposes, i.e. airline operations, but it will be used for commercial purposes in the private market, which is where it's mostly been sold. I think they've made like less than 600 of these or something, or maybe more. I can't remember. So yeah, 2 Rolls-Royce BR710 C411 engines, turbofan, with 15,000 pounds of thrust, which is very, very powerful, guys. One thing I've noticed so far with the handling is it's considerably more difficult and heavy-handed than the Citation X. Anyway, going on to the AKD Studio, they are indeed a Polish developer. The download itself was about 1 gigabyte, but they do have a channel here which has some flights on, although a lot of these are outdated. They have this one, which is more of a trailer, and they do have some tutorials there available. They are a Polish developer, and I think this might be their first experience making an aircraft. I'm not too sure. Anyway, it cost me $33 on sale, which is not too bad if you think about it. What you get on the outside looks very good. And I'm going to talk through more of this as we go through it. We'll go on the exterior, then interior, then we'll talk about the handling characteristics and some other things. It is Warsaw sunrise at the moment. We've not got real world time, but it does look absolutely stunning on the ground. I've really been enjoying my time with it, as I say. So $33 on sale. It comes with 3 PDF documents, which I was a bit disappointed about. So let's just go into the aircraft folder, and we're going to look at the Gulfstream's documentation. So you do only get 3. Now, from what I've seen on YouTube, previous reviews have shown this to contain many documents, but actually it turns out that the studio, I think, took the information from this site, which is code 450, which is basically a bunch of Gulfstream pilots and pilots who have come together and created all this information about the G550 and other Gulfstream aircraft. Now, if the developer did in fact get it from there, and I suspect they did, because it looks exactly like the YouTube videos have shown, then that is very, very wrong of them to do so. But they have removed it now, so when you purchase the plane, you do only get 3 documents with it. But that's important to note, so in case anybody wants this information, you can in fact just go to this site and get it, and it's there anyway, and it might help you out. It would have been nice to have a pilot operating handbook, maybe some kind of notes about the aircraft specifications, maybe some just more documentation. We've got an introduction which is not going to tell you an awful lot. We have the McDo manual, which can be a bit useful, but again, I think the McDo is a little bit of common sense if you've used one before. The checklist, however, is good, and I did like it, but it's not a complete checklist. I think this is one the devs have made. There are things on here that seem incorrect, let's say. So they have on the engine startup, for example, let's just zoom in. Bleed air panel set. Now, some of this is not very clear. This is after start, but before start, you have things like, where is it? Bleed air. So cabin pressure. Some of these things can't be set because it's not functional. Some of these things don't make sense. I think it tells you at one point to turn the packs on before you start the engines, which you usually wouldn't do, guys. You would usually have the engine bleed air on. So I think the developer needs to work on the checklist a little bit more. It's still a great checklist to use. We won't use this one today because there are a few differences between this one and the one built into the aircraft. The one in the aircraft is actually a bit better because there's no mention of the APU on this whatsoever. But so yeah, we'll go and use the internal aircraft documentation on board. We do have that. So that's 3 of them out of the way. Let's close the chart. We don't have a flight plan ready to download because we're going to do it all manually. But going back onto the exterior, anyway, you do get 4 liveries, which is not very much, guys. 2 Polish Air Force, which are both pretty much identical. This one by far is the best. It's definitely the most vibrant and it stands out. But the page has it as listed as, I think it's maybe 5 or 6. I don't know. It shows more pictures on the store than you actually get, which I find a little bit disappointing. I'm not going to lie, it is disappointing. Yeah, some of the stuff outside as well. Let's move on to the landing gear. I do like the area and the detail on the outside. It's very good. Some great lights down here and wheels and some detailing down here. And the metal as well does in fact look very realistic. It does look like painted metal. And as you can see there, we've got all the details. We can remove the before flight thing. We have all these little things down here giving it detail, but then of course we don't have positives without the negatives. So let's just take that off the pitot. As you can see, manually taking them off is a lot better, and of course we have a camera at the front as well. So going back here, guys, there's a little bit of a thing here. It says PJs was here. That's only specific to the AKD Studio livery. Moving on, they haven't bothered to model. It looks like they've modelled it there, because obviously you can't see it, but when you go closer, you realise they haven't modelled the interior underneath the landing gear at the nose, which is disappointing. The same can't be said for the rear. The rear wheels do in fact have modelling there, and I think overall it's a very good look on the outside. It just looks very, very nice, and I've compared it to the real Gulfstream. And to be fair, it's very realistic looking. The lights again on the wings done very, very well. And the lights on this aircraft look magnificent, guys. You can see just how tall it is compared to even a 737 or a Citation X. Wicks, nothing particularly stands out here. It's all got the correct details, I think. The one thing I will say about the engines, we can't really see any rivets. No rivets present, which we would usually have on a engine's externals. There's also no font or text anywhere to indicate that you can open things. You can in fact open certain things like a door over here for the storage. But there's no like handle on it, there's just a click area which you can't really see. So you have to sort of find this out for yourself. The tutorials on the YouTube are not very useful, I don't think, because they seem to use an alternate version of aircraft. Going back to the detail though, the engines are actually pretty good. If anybody's seen the Gulfstream engines, they do look pretty nice from the back, very clean. This one, not too much detailing in there, but again, they look great, I think. You got a rear end here. The one thing about this aircraft you'll notice is, well, I don't know if you can notice it, but there's only one beacon underneath, and there's no beacon on top. Moving around this gigantic beast, it's a real pleasure to look at it from the outside. It's certainly something else. So yeah, anyway, the walk around feels very, very good. Look at the aircraft from the outside and you get the impression you're going to get a really high-end aircraft inside, but there are obviously issues when you load the aircraft in. For one, there are sounds playing of the engine shutting down, which shouldn't happen. Ground equipment is available. You do have passenger vans, fuel, a GPU, aircraft coverings, chocks, etc., which can all be removed by mouse. And they all look very high quality. Going back to the click regions, it's not clear where the GPU is. You would think it'd be there, but actually it's down here. Again, there's no markings here, guys. I'm pretty sure there would be markings, and you also cannot connect it with your mouse, which I think is a little bit redundant having them there if you can't connect it. Anyway, oh, banging our head. So going back round, the same thing with the door. We can't really open it because there's no handle. You wouldn't realise that there's a thing here to open it. The devs have shown a video on YouTube of them opening the door using this, but it doesn't work on here. So you meant to obviously switch the battery, and then there's no option to open it. It doesn't work because we don't have an external battery plugged in. I don't even know where to plug that in, guys. So I'm pretty sure that should work. So in order to get in, you do need to click on the door, but it has a nice sound effect. Functional control surfaces. Functional door animation, which looks very cool. I believe these lights down here were actually added later on, but that's a very nice touch. Again, opening and closing, there's no clip region on the door inside, so it's all done, unfortunately, by the EFB, which we'll talk about a little bit when we get inside. The engines, though, the engines, the wings, nose, generally all look good, and the undercarriage does as well, and the animations on the reversers are very nice, and the ailerons, you can't really see them. Let's just go into another view. As you can see, you can put a control lock on. It's called a gust lock. Very slow on the response. I think that might be because the hydraulics are switched off. But you'll notice on this aircraft during the handling that it's actually quite tail heavy and you do quite a lot of power. Okay, good. So that's all functional. Great lighting, sound and movement. Let's just try and do this from the outside, guys, so it's a bit better. Yeah, great lighting and movement on the outside. It's let down a little bit by sound, though, especially at high RPMs or when on takeoff cruise, for example, the engines make a very strange sound. At low RPM and taxiing things, it does sound good, especially inside. The inside sound is a lot better. Right, let's move in. I can't really walk up the stairs, unfortunately. That's another downside, is they've not made the surfaces solid, which I really would have liked to see, especially in such a beautiful looking plane where they've done a great job. We'll get talking about a bit of the shape issues soon, to do with the developer not being able to make circles, but God forbid God forbid we say anything about it. Right, into the cockpit, guys. I got my preset view, so let's just go back to the door. So as you come in, you're welcomed by a lovely cabinet area with brown cabinets, wooden, and these lights above here, which are sort of detailed and sort of not. So if we see here, you can see the glass on them. You can see glass, but then here for some reason they've not got glass on. I don't get it. There's inconsistencies in the modelling, but you are welcome to a very big cockpit and cabinet area. Unfortunately, nothing is interactable in the cabinets, but I'm sure they would change it in the future. We also have a door here for a room, or potential door, which is again can't be interacted with, but it looks nice. It does look very good. It's got all the marble worktops, it's got the glasses, it's got the yeah, I do like this. I like the look of it. It's considerably bigger, as you can see, than Citation X. Moving to the cockpit a little bit. Actually, no, let's go into the seat in the cabin first. That's what my notes say. Talking about there being plenty of seating. There's actually cabinets here, which I don't think people are aware of, but you can actually pull them out. So the clip regions are not very good, being further back. So it's right back here, but there is an animation there for a table, and the same on this side as well. So that's very nice that they've added that in, but we don't need them at the moment. And then find the click spot. A little bit difficult. You have got the internals, low quality textures on the lights for some reason. I don't know why, and the inability to make a circle, which I found strange. So none of this is a circle. None of the circles in the aircraft will be. They'll all be these sorts of strange shapes. I don't even know what shape that is, but that's the way they've been put in. There's low quality detail. It's not that great, to be honest. The ceiling and stuff looks good. I like the walls, but then you come further down, and the biggest eyesore is the windows. It's, you know, there might be cabinets and nice seating, which looks okay, but there's the low quality details. These things are fine. These look alright, but the low quality details up here and the windows, the odd shapes on the circles, and this awful colour of the wall next to the windows, it just makes it look a bit too much of an eyesore. And for some reason we can turn the lights on as well when we've got no power. It's a few inconsistencies. Some of the buttons are interactable on seats. I think the only thing you can press on them is usually the shutter. On this one you can press audio and it will play music, but we won't do that until we get in the move around the cabin, guys. You do have a rear exit. Go past these lovely seats and you have a nice rear cabin here. I suspect this is where people come and sleep. The textures here just look a little bit off-putting, to be honest. There's not really much to do. You can't press the call button, and that would be so cool. Also, a mention of the emergency exit signs. If you have seen the Gulfstream, you'll know that they're meant to be 3D objects, not 2D, so it'd be nice to have a change in there. But I appreciate the developer putting it in there. There's good touches in here, which I think will get better over time. Hopefully, and they're still updating. This release was only brought out in October, so it shows they're still working on the aircraft. And a fully functional screen which will show you the location and the height and speed. Going further back, we have some of these lights. These ones, I think these don't have glass in them. They don't appear to have glass in them. It's hard to tell. Again, there's lights up here. We can't do anything with this. I have no idea if there's a click region here, but it looks... again, we have an off-putting sink with a strange shape, which should be a circle, I'm guessing. Nothing else can be clicked. And then we have the back with some nice cargo. I like the touch up here on the light. This is very nice. The bags are already pre-packed though, which is takes some of the realism out. It would be nice if someone could load them through the cabin baggage doors. But yeah, nice little back room there, which you may want to explore. And the toilet lid does lift up. I'm not sure what that was. You do have toilet roll. Not the best looking. I think there's a flush feature somewhere. I really have no idea, guys. We're going to leave the doors closed, because we don't need them open during the flight. And we are probably going to go fully loaded, I think. And just take the plane to its absolute limit. Anyway, this non-circular lights and the strange shapes really do detract. I think they're developing make a circle. It's not very hard, guys. You know, people can make circles very easily in games. It's a basic shape. It tells me that they maybe made it from the ground up and they didn't want to use any presets. I don't know. The gold plate buttons is nice, and the interactivity with the shutters and the music. It really brings it to life, actually. And you'll hear later on how realistic it actually sounds with the cabin announcements. You have a seatbelt and no smoking sign, again. Something you would expect on the plane. So yeah, if you can look past the windows and this bad looking texture and some of the other things, you can actually have a decent time in it. Anyway, graphically, nothing is too bad. I think it's just those low quality textures that are the only thing bringing it down at the moment. And of course the shape. It's not disastrous though by any means. The aircraft is certainly done well. It's not the most exciting design, I'm not going to lie. They could spruce it up, maybe put some extra items to make it look a little bit nicer, but it's up to them, isn't it? They're the devs. Talked about the fully functional seatbelt, no smoking sign. The cabin announcements. Let's get in the cockpit seat now. We're going to explore the cockpit. So yeah, fully controllable EFB, which includes announcements down here. So cabin person announcements in Polish and in English, which I like that little touch there. So you could do it in... Today we're going to be doing it in Polish and English, just to make them used of it. And we are going to be using the checklist on board. The most interesting thing, though, would be have that customization in the cabin, because it all looks very plain. Maybe a nice modern interior with some leather seating, just a bit more, a bit nicer. Anyway, moving on here to the cockpit. Looking around, it doesn't look pretty. It doesn't look pretty standout as being amazing. They do claim to do 4K PPR textures. I just find it hard to believe because it doesn't look 4K. Like, this is not 4K PPR texturing. If it is, I don't think it is, just because of the way it looks. If it was 4K, it'd be super crisp and super clear, but it isn't. There are inconsistencies in the, as you can see down here, in the captain seat. For some reason they couldn't apply the texture equally, and it's got this line through it with it blurred. That is not 4K, guys. That is... I actually don't think there are any textures here that are 4K. I think it's probably got a few HD textures, but that's it. This thing up here looks very blurry. It distracts you a lot. I think the co-pilot seat is a lot better. You can't really notice that line as much. It looks a lot nicer. There is a nice cockpit though. It does look good. I can appreciate that they have issues with Gulfstream not letting them use the name, so they can't exactly model a real aircraft, which is unfortunate. They've done a damn good job of doing it. It looks extremely well laid out. Here we have the controller for the computer screens. I'll talk about that a bit more, but that's non-functional. As for the cockpit itself, when it comes to the engine startup, I had one issue where I had to restart the APU in order to get it to work, so there are a few bugs in here. The sound design is generally good on the switches. Let's turn the batteries. In fact, let's get the APU on first, the GPU. So what you do is you go ground, and we've got AC GPU. Fully modelled, which is great. And the pilots as well. This is something else I really respect of the developers. Rather than create something from scratch and rather than struggling, they've actually used pilots from X-Plane 12, which I think is fantastic. So as you can see there, they've now spawned in. I'm not sure what triggered that, because sometimes they spawn in, sometimes they don't. Yeah, fantastic, and I would reiterate, guys, that if they're going to do a plane, actually take some of the things from X-Plane 12 if you can, and take that as a base for your aircraft. Right, AC GPU. Let's get the external power and the batteries on. As you can see, nice sounds in the cockpit, but when it comes to the engine starting and things and the engine in air, it's extremely bad. I don't know what it is. It's sometimes ear-piercing. Well, not too bad at slow speeds. Anyway, the low resolution textures and low fidelity things are really off-putting. I just don't think there's 4K textures here. I'm going to reiterate, I really don't think there is. It's hard to believe that this is, or that, I mean, this does look a little bit better, but it's, yeah. We'll wait and see if the developer will respond to this stream. I can't read your chapter on it, by the way, guys, so this is the one-way stream for this point on. Anyway, I think the round objects was a bit of a poor effort as well. You would expect in 2025 that, or even in the last 10 to 15 years, that it wouldn't be so difficult to do it. You know, this is not Minecraft, this is a flight simulator. They chose to do the Gulfstream 550. It's not a hard shape to make, it really isn't. I don't understand how they could get it wrong. So yeah, it would be nice if they could fix that. And the same with the sound, it really needs fixing as well. It's the same with the aircraft, they just need to make it a solid object. They need to separate the sound from outside and inside. They need to, there's things to work on which are very basic. So I think adding quality of life things at this point is probably unnecessary. Honestly, you just want to be adding updates that are going to improve the base model. Anyway, good displays and systems depth. We've done the thing now. Let's go down here. We've got to turn this on before we can get the screens. So display system control to normal. And as you can see, they're going to come on. I think this looks realistic. I did see one review, he said it wasn't good, and I have to disagree. Yes, some of the writing is a bit blurry, the numbers, but actually, if you've seen the Gulfstream, this is exactly how they're laid out, and yeah, I think these are done very well, and the level of depth really blows me away actually, because you have all these checklists built in. You have like several pages here, including a charts page, to access systems and things, so yeah, they really, this is top job, guys. This is extremely in depth for an indie developer, and if it is one person, you know, well done to them. Going back to the FMC stuff, so we look down here, it's actually in a McDo, I think. I've had issues with this in initialization. I've had issues with this when it comes to entering things like weight. I can't enter the cargo weight, it never ever enters it, and I've seen people on YouTube do it, and for some reason I don't know why it's not working for me, but it isn't. Anyway, long in-depth checklists. These are the ones there, but you can also get the checklist here, which is different, guys. So the one I'm playing is more in-depth. More in-depth, I say, more accurate. The one on here seems to be... let's put it this way, it would have been easy if the developer had given us a real checklist. But I can appreciate, you know, they're trying to do things without access to the information. It's a long in-depth checklist, and it's intuitive. I think the layout's intuitive. Once or twice in the aircraft and you will in fact have a sense of where things are. Just going back to those textures, we have for some reason they put the circuit breakers in low textures as well, low resolution, which is a huge problem, I guess. This down here looks nice, and the buttons, as I say, do sound very nice. Just going to switch to the co-pilot. So go down here, some of these textures, some of those shapes are getting off. Can't interact with everything in the cockpit, guys, and the comm jack, for some silly reason, is empty. There's absolutely nothing there to plug it into, so I do feel like a lot of this is the developer just didn't really care about the product, and they just wanted to make. It's like they focused on the systems, but they didn't really focus on the actual design of it, if that makes sense. That they focused on getting it functional without actually doing it. Anyway, intuitive design and layout thanks to Gulfstream. The MCP up here is good, although I've had some issues getting it to follow a flight plan. It will go off course sometimes and it won't follow the waypoints. That's a situation which needs probably fixing. The previous documents were included as well have been removed, as I say, most likely because they didn't belong to the studio, but I appreciate they've removed them because they don't own them. Right guys, I think I'm going to talk some more about the handling when we're in the air. Let's get the checklist on, because otherwise we'll be on the ground all day. So what we're going to do is going to start the pre-flight checklist. We're going to assume this is all done. So check. Circuit breakers, these are non-functional, which is fine. I don't mind that. But it would be nice to have that high resolution texture. It just stands out so much. When it comes to the lighting itself, it's also very, very bright. If you turn it up max, it makes it blurry, which is again really, really difficult. So you only need a small amount of lighting. Circuit breaker panels, and you can also change the brightness here. But for today, let's just pray this is going to be enough. It's really hard to tell sometimes, guys, how bad it's going to be. Let's just get a close-up of this. Yeah, so very pretty on the outside. What do we need to do now? We need to probably do our weight and balance. As you can see, we have plenty of things here to set. Then we have a settings, which you can actually import your SimBrief user ID. I've not tried that yet, but you can do. You can also have a nose wheel users. So if you are using a rudder pedal set like me, you can select yaw and it will use the pedals. The default state is simply the yoke and the yaw together, which is not practical. Okay, going back to fuel and payload, we're going all the way to Chisinau. We're going to figure out our route distance soon. So circuit breakers, the LAC power control panel. Some of these things I'm not really aware what they are. Standby electrical power now. Standby electrical power. Just test that. I'm not sure if we're meant to leave that on or not because it says off. When it comes to the emergency power, however, this one does not function. You can only put it on. You can't really have it armed. It's not lit up to say it's armed. I don't know if it's working or not. Anyway. APU, so let's get the APU online, and you're going to hear some of those, to be honest, awful sounds. Checklist again is not complete. You will get items in the checklist that don't make sense, like the packs being on before the engine start makes no sense. The fact that you don't have any fuel pumps on and you need them on for the APU to start is something that needs mentioning. Turn the master on. So yeah, these need to be on, guys, for the APU to have fuel. And you'll notice the alarm will just continue beeping. It seems like it never stops. As you can see, the APU is now starting up, and we can monitor the fuel flow on this detailed map down here. So fuel, and there's no click region as well to tell you where it actually is, but it is nice that we've put a separate mouse in there. So you can see there, fuel for the engines and the APU, tanks, etc. Display controls, they were already on, so you wouldn't actually be able to access the checklist without them on. So I'd say put them on after you've turned the system's power on. The MFD display is normal. That's all up here, guys. Although these ones can't be changed. So again, there's that lack of interactivity. Just kind of detracts from the experience and the realism. IRSs, so these are down here, a little bit tricky to find. Nice sounds again on those. IRS align, that will take some time. I do have it set in on realistic. Real on the IRS and the refuel time. FMS. I'm assuming this is the flight management system. And then flight ID, so let's do that. It's very difficult as well to find certain things on this. If you click performance initialization, it doesn't actually take you to that page. You need to click on navigation. Let me figure this out myself. Position sensors, and then we click. So as you can see, it's lost that initialization page, which is a pain. It makes it very, very difficult to find it again. There we go. We are at Epwa flight plan, and we're going to go to Chisinau. So I'm going to use the internet. So let's just check our flight ID. I'm not sure how to do that. We'll just assume it's correct. Engine fire defaults, detect it, and then left and right engine tests. Should have checked the AP before we started it. Very nice sound effects. Now I'm going to do this up here, so fuel. Bit hard to see, guys, I'm not gonna lie, it's a big plane, a big cockpit, and there's no door here as well. That's one feature I didn't mention. They need a door here or a curtain. You would not have an open cockpit like this on a big jet. And by the way, the Gulfstream, as you can tell, is a large private jet. Let's go back to the tests. You can flick back to the main panel and it'll pop up the warning. I'll just do it like this, it's a bit quicker. Annunciation lights, not the most bright cockpit, but it will do. Passenger oxygen, engine test. Awesome, we don't want to spend all day doing that. Okay, lights. Let's get some lights on. They've done the lighting very well on this plane. That's one thing I really like to see from devs, is when they put effort into the lighting, but the sound unfortunately can't be said that it's the same quality. There we go. And also functioning oxygen masks. Again, that's a big bonus for them. This one up here is non-functional. A few of the buttons work. This one down in the centre, again, this thing here is unfunctional. Other than a few keys, you can't do much on it. Right, there are a few systems as well that I still need to figure out. Engine bleed air. So realistically, probably wouldn't have it off. I mean, before start, yeah, but when you start the engines, guys, you need to bleed air on, and it doesn't tell you to do it. Temp control, so let's go to the overhead panel. 22, 23, let's switch it down to about 20 degrees. We don't want to cook ourselves. We do have some things here, engine vibrations. The limits there for the BR700 engines. Very accurate, but then you go back. You look behind the cockpit captains and you have this registration thing, but it's not even, I don't think this is even for the correct aircraft. It says there it's for a Cessna C-150, so I appreciate they've put it on the aircraft, but it's the completely wrong plane, guys. That's not we're not in a Cessna, we're in a Gulfstream 550. That could be an embarrassing mistake, but I think for the sakes of this stream it's going to be a happy mistake, so appreciate them putting it in, but maybe they want to change it. Just change that font to say Gulfstream 550. Going back to the outside, you can hear hopefully the APU. It's a high whistling pitch sound which just sounds awful. And it seems to repeat itself. It's not a continuous sound, it's just repeating itself every few seconds. Still though, it looks brilliant. Let's get those nav lights on so you can see how beautiful they are. Yeah, look at that, guys. This is one thing the aircraft does well, and I really praise them for it, is that lighting. Anyway, back down, temperature control, cabin pressurization. This is something that doesn't work, so it doesn't, this pressurization down here does not change even if you select the ground altitude, the landing elevation. None of it does anything. You see him turning it and it does absolutely nothing, so they really need to fix this. And also the same with the weather radar, is completely dysfunctional. It does not function whatsoever. Ground radar doesn't work, the weather radar doesn't work. There are a few physics issues. Windshield heat off, anti-ice off. Windshield blower off. Cabin window heat on. Probably in preparation for the guests. Cow wing off. Ah, okay, cow wing on auto. I didn't realise that was meant to be on. Thankfully they have a temperature gauge in this aircraft, otherwise we wouldn't be able to tell. We go back here to map, and we have an outside air temperature there which should appear soon. Left and right main TRU, and again I'm not too sure what that is. Cabin galley masters is required, so let's do that. Cabin, let's give them 60 Hz. We'll leave everything off like SATCOM phones for now. I'm going to arm this because these are meant to be on for the hydraulic pressure. SATCOM phones. Oh, it does want me to turn the SATCOM phone on. That's interesting. Maybe not the internet, just the camera and that stuff. Okay, power transfer unit, PTU arm. I don't know where that is. I have no idea where it is. Let's get on the APU. In fact, no, let's not get on the APU. The PTU, I don't know where that would be, guys. I'm a bit lost if I'm honest. Auxiliary pump, armed and checked. Cockpit lights, master control, as required. Hopefully this is bright enough. I turned it down because it was too bright. Seatbelts and no smoking signs. You can't really hear it because of the overpowering sound of the APU, which is... It's a bit too loud, guys. And then you go in the cabin is much more realistic in terms of sound design. Well, in the cockpit, it's really loud of air conditioning systems. Crankmaster, no idea what that is. Actually, I do know what that is. That is here, and we have a star which is off. So, engines checklist. Before starting, we actually need to do the FMS and FMC to get our flight plan loaded. I'm going to see probably some more issues in there. So let me get the QNH, the ICAO. It'd be so much easier to use SimBrief. There is a profile to download, but it's a pain in the ass to do it, and I don't really think it's for the right aircraft, guys. It's for, I think it was a Gulfstream 4 SP, which is single pilot. The Gulfstream 550 is a multiple crew aircraft, so it requires a pilot and co-pilot. Okay, look. Let's do that. I'm going to make up a route. I'm just going to fly spontaneous. We're not flying on a online communications today. Flight plan number, well, we'll make something up. Let's make this flight number 1. First flight in this aircraft. Again, some things can't get entered, even though I've seen people do it. As you can see, I'm clicking it. These are huge issues, guys, and it's all the more disheartening when you figure out there probably is a way to do it, but as you can see, we just can't do it. I suspect they've programmed it so it only works with things like the cargo weight and that when you've got it downloaded from SimBrief, so it's kind of forcing it. As you can see, there's no functionality there. It is kind of forcing us. Yeah, that's bizarre. There's nothing functional there now, so you have to go back to flight plan. That's strange, actually. I didn't have this issue yesterday. Right, perform initialization. Let's get the pack. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick some more weight on board, some more fuel. Let's go for... We have quite a high takeoff weight today, so 15,000 I think will be enough. Let's see, 170 of cargo, and we're going to go maximum passengers, so extremely heavy. Set the fuel and boarding. Take passengers to plane. Excellent. All refueling now, guys. All complete. Right, I think there was another thing covering the screen there, but I'm sure you guys could see it anyway. Pretty sure I turned that off. Oh well, you guys can see and hear what I'm talking about. Yeah, that high-pitched whistling is so annoying. Let's go in the cockpit. He should give us our weight and balance sheet soon. Let's see today if the cargo import will actually work. I don't think it will. By the way, cockpit, I think overall it's very impressive, but it's just not. I don't know, it's just lacking in places. It feels very much outdated. We do have a HUD display. I heard someone else complaining about that, but I actually think we've done a good job of it. It does look good. Some of the text there is a bit blurry and big, but overall it's a very useful thing. The same thing down here with that blurry font, which significantly impacts it. I think they're using, like when you got a thing for sale, like an aircraft, and you try and bring it in from X-Plane 11, that's when you get problems. So making an aircraft for X-Plane 12 requires quite a high fidelity plane. I mean, you've got Laminar Research as the basis. They have freeware aircraft, which is the basis. Well, if they can't make something that's better than freeware aircraft, my opinion is they shouldn't bother, because you know the freeware aircraft will always trump the payware aircraft. But that's a hot topic, I think. Too hot for this one. Cockpit lights, emergency landing gear. Again, some of this stuff is a bit hard to find. Landing gear lever's there. I have no idea where the emergency gear lever is. You have a gust lock. Right, there's the packs outside, guys. So they'll be loading. It'll give me a trim percent of takeoff on that weight balance sheet, which will be down here, but that'll be completely wrong, and it'll result in the aircraft pitching up steeply, extremely steeply, to the point where you won't be able to control it, even though you're putting full elevator control and it won't do absolutely anything. Audio control panels, I'm not sure where that is. That'll probably be for the radio, but there's no radio in here. There's just this thing down here to program the tune frequencies. It'd be great if we had a separate one available. Ah, right, perform initialization. Let's do this. Step increment, we're not going to bother with that. Let's go up to 30. Again, I'm not too sure about this because the plane is very noisy at high altitude because of the thrust, and it doesn't tend to maintain a steady speed, so it's just constantly changing its thrust position. Anyway, 1004. What am I doing? What am I doing? Blimey. It's all going wrong, isn't it, on this review? 1004 is a QNH. I want the transition
Boarding
level.
completed and main door closed.
6500, main door is closed. Let's just go ahead and remove all those things from the outside. Excuse me, let's close the cargo door. Get rid of those off the engines. Seeing the fuel truck is there, that's really nice that it appears there though, it's good to see it. Now usually when he's done the weight and balance he would give me it. So let's see, so it's still refueling and then it should pop down there in the time being though. Let's go onto flight plan, let's put EPWAR in and let's print off our weather. So where that appears, sometimes you'll have issues if you've typed into there and then it won't work. There's one down here, let's see if it's printed it off. We didn't actually search for it. Yep, it's printed it off, so that's cool then it's actually there. That's a really nice touch, guys. You don't see this sort of things even in freeware planes. We'll wait for him to refill any time now and he'll be passing us the low sheets. Back to the FMC, we have cargo again. I don't know if this is going to work, guys, it never does. Cruise winds, I have no idea what the cruise winds will be. We'll skip that for now. But yeah, the bizarre. Back to the fuel, we want to get a specific amount, so 14,909.
Refueling complete, and here is your load sheet papers, sir. Have a nice flight.
Brilliant, so as you can see, he's given us our load sheet down here. That's such a nice touch, such a great thing to put in. So as you can see, the percentage is saying trim 16 degrees. If we do it 16 degrees, that's going to be extremely nose up, extremely nose down actually in this case. Nope, nose up. If we do it to 16, guys, the plane is just going to be uncontrollable. It's in the green zone, but 16 is too much. Stabilizer 0. We'll do it there. We'll see how. Yeah, you can even see the position of it changing as well. That's going to considerably impact the flight. Hopefully it doesn't kill us all. But yeah, very hard to get that aileron control and elevator control when it's got a high pitch like that. Anyway, back to the load sheet. So we have our actual weight. 38,218. We were below with a max of 41,000. Let's try to get a good view of this for you. So yeah, as you can see down there, standard weight for packs is 60, so actually quite lightweight in terms of personal weight. 14 people, 14 kg for the bags. What do we want here? We've got 19 people on board. That is insane. Absolutely insane. Right. We don't have the baggage thing on there because it's not on there. So, let's try and put 170 in for the cargo. I do not think this is going to work, but fingers crossed. We did this on the YouTube reviews as well, and it worked for them. Oh, of course, today guys. Today guys, it works. Oh my goodness. How embarrassing. For me personally, guys, that is a real shanker. Anyway, 14,999. 14,997. Enter that in as the actual fuel. The bow is 20,000. I'm not sure what we put there. We put 19 on the pack, so we actually have 23 people on board today. Pack's weight, confirm that. Let's go back to our environmental controls and check the APU bleed air and things. So we need to get the APU bleed air on. I think we can disconnect from the ground power. And we can disconnect that. Leave the chocks on for now. What else do we need here? We can use the habitat for departure, but I think we can skip it today and just use the... Actually no, we can look at it on departure, can't we? Okay, NWS power, that's nose wheel steering, so... Let's turn that off. And nose wheel pedal disc is... on. Clocks set 0. I don't know how to do it. I think that's where we put it, chronometer. Display controllers. Again, we can't use the display controller here, but we can do it with our mouse. Engine EPR mode, I think that's automatic. Anyway guys, so performance, a little bit tricky to do it this way, so you will want to do performance data. Now hopefully this works. I have had some issues with this before. We may need to tune an arrival, a departure, and an arrival. So let's do that. We're departing from runway 111 right next to us, 11. And we'll make the departure thing as we go along. So let's just do the easiest, the BAMSA 6 Alpha. Activates. Go for the start. Just whatever the first one is, guys. We'll just figure it out when we get there. Activate that. And then I think we copy that into there. Brilliant. Now if you go into performance, it should allow you to put performance data. Okay, not working today. I wonder if I've done something slightly wrong. Let's just go straight to takeoff. Let's just check runway 11. We want the wind, so wind is 150 at 6 knots. 06. Thank goodness that cargo thing worked. That's so relief. Overall though, very positive so far. Okay, 150 over 6. I'm going to leave all that the same. Rated EPR is confirmed. We have a warning that stall barriers 1 and 2. We can check that a little bit here by going on to test. It doesn't work without the engines running though, which I find a little bit odd. Yes. And also on navigation, we need to select FMS1. I'd say do it. You don't need to do it on the second side, but you are probably better off just in case. Let's just check that it's come up in the flight plan. Yeah, so the flight plan's coming up. Let's choose LNAV, so that's coming on. VNAV won't come on just yet. V2 is 140. Now if we go back down here to flight reference, you see that 146 and those V-speeds have actually been put in. Which is great. So what we're going to do is going to auto speed 1 for the auto throttle, and then you can change that. Minimums, you can change it there as well. about 1,000 feet. 1,360. I believe we just leave it like that and then go back to pre-FD because otherwise it won't work. Right, barometric, I think 1004 is set. Yes, just slightly just this one. Oh, cranky like mecha, guys. Right, so the initialization is done, the climb needs to be checked, and the cruise. 33,000 feet, I've chose that level. Optimal level though is 45,000. This aircraft can, believe it or not, go to 51,000 feet, which is insane. I don't think I've flown an aircraft so powerful before. So we're quite below our cruise recommendation. Maybe we could change it to flight level 370. And then the landing speeds will be calculated when we've got an arrival and approach is programmed. So back to flight plan. I think we're ready to go, guys. We're ready to push back. Let's go ahead and close the door. So the door is closed. Let's go ahead and lock it. Let's welcome people on board.
Szanowni Państwo, w imieniu kapitana oraz całej załogi serdecznie witamy na pokładzie samolotu AKD Studio. Cieszymy się, że możemy Państwa gościć na tym wyjątkowym rejsie.
Brilliant, let's get some
Prosimy
lights
o
on in the
zajęcie
cabin.
miejsc
Let's
oraz
just turn on
upewnienie
all
się,
the
że
lights so you
pasy
can see what they're like.
bezpieczeństwa są zapięte. Jeśli będziecie Państwo
I'm gonna skip the
potrzebować
Good
dual
morning, ladies and
introduction.
gentlemen. On behalf of the captain and the entire crew, welcome aboard AKD Studio Aircraft. We are delighted to have you with us today.
And it's gone off. That may be because we changed positions, so I pressed a few keys. The lighting looks good. There's a purple glow to it. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but there is some purple glow in here. It would be nice to have some lights up here on the ceiling, which is, I think, where they're meant to be as well. Yeah, that purple glow coming because it's not a solid object, I suspect. Right, we'll plan the pushback.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Let's arm our LNAV and VNAV. VNAV can't be armed, so that might tell me there's something wrong in the cruise performance. Again, the performance data not really working this time, maybe because something is not being put in correct. 33,000 feet is in there.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Yeah, so some of this is not functional this time. Again, it's like hit and miss with it. Anyway, APR mode selected, V speeds verified, GZIP US. Let's do that. Let's click line and
Windshield
test it.
strap and adapter in position.
Altimeter's
Release parking
guidance.
brake when ready to start pushback.
So 33,000 feet, we're going to just go straight up to that. It doesn't work with the honeycomb yoke on the altitude, but it does work with the heading. So it takes a long time, guys. There we go.
Wind shear, wind shear, wind shear.
VNAV works now, brilliant.
Pull up. Runway, awareness, okay.
Meter.
Near the course is 108, I'm not going to bother with the charts. Let's set our heading 108. Thank goodness this one worked for the honeycomb, otherwise you'd be stuck all day. Now, course did work, but I suspect it's already set the heading. It's set 124, so that'll be our heading after takeoff. You can use your mouse here to zoom in. It's a bit all over. You can't really click. It's hard to explain. I don't know if we're in the screen or not, because it won't let me zoom into it. I'm assuming it is working though.
We would like to familiarize you with this aircraft. Please use caution.
Parking brake release. We're going to let the push
and
button
be aware of
unconnect us.
static waves, jet blast, and aircraft movements. In the interest of safety, please observe the seatbelt and no smoking signs. Fasten your seatbelt by inserting the buckle.
One thing as well, guys, we don't get a centre of gravity. We get something down here about trim conditions and a little bit there about the limit, but we don't actually get a centre of gravity in the FMC. In general, it's not very easy to handle the aircraft either. I suspect they need to tune it in terms of the control. The load sheet is also given an inaccurate percentage on the trim. That can't be right. 16 degrees nose up. It's in the green, but that is going to be, in my experience, these last few days, that's going to be well too much and we'll end up out of control. So let's pitch down. We're going to do it right at the lower end.
In the unlikely event of pressurization, an oxygen mask will automatically drop.
Alright, we're connecting.
above your seat.
I think I've had some issues with the pushback on the here as well.
As the oxygen will be flowing freely, please breathe normally. Smoke
28
hoods are
released.
located under the base of the seats. Locate and pull the tab to release the smoke hood from under the seat.
Hey, Captain, let me know where you want this thing.
You can see I did a test sector here the other day at Warsaw Airport. Put a beacon
Pull out
on.
the two red rubber filter caps and place the hood over your head. Firmly tighten the head strap and breathe normally.
SFD, I don't know what that is. Some of this stuff again, I don't really know what it is. Check order
Fire
is heading 1.
extinguishers, first aid kit,
I
and
stabilize a
AKD
flat
are
position.
located in the
We'll
front
put them when
cabin
we're going to
closet.
take off. We're going to do 20 degrees of flaps.
Please take a moment to observe
Your
the
damper
emergency
disengage is
window
down
exits
here.
on the sides of
It's
the
not on at
cabin.
the moment.
Each is clearly
Pitch
marked
trim
and can be opened by
is
pulling the
set.
emergency exit T-handle down
Terrain inhibit
and
off.
then pulling the
Right.
handle inward. Exit
So they're
the
off.
aircraft by stepping through the escape hatch
Fire
onto
handles are in for the engines.
the main entry
Fuel
door,
controls.
which you
So it
use
says
to enter the
off, but we
aircraft.
need them on the
Also
main
used
pumps.
as
I'm not sure how you would
emergency
start the engines without fuel,
It will
guys. So
open outward, and instructions on its
GPWS is
use
set.
are
Let's
located
just
on
see if the
top
storm will work.
attached to the
No,
door.
we have to wait for the engines. Spoiler control.
Life vests are located in the
Spoilers are
seat
functional.
bases.
Let's do the ground arm.
Remove the vest from its protective cover.
We want service
and place
purpose
it
in the
over
air.
your head with the inflation
Two
chambers
brake
over
restraint.
your
Radar.
chest.
Now, again, the radar doesn't actually
The
work.
waist
Even if we
straps
put it
should
on,
extend down the middle of your back.
there'd be absolutely no
Press
weather
these
appearing on this
straps
map
and snap
whatsoever.
the holes together.
If
Pull
you
each
select
string until it is tight.
radar, nothing
The
pops up.
red
You
tape
select
marks
terrain.
the inflation
Sometimes that
chamber.
works.
Pull downward
Like
to
there it
inflate
works,
each
but
chamber.
the radar for the weather
Cords
doesn't.
must be pulled to inflate the vest,
I'm not
but
seeing
do so
anything on
only
it.
when
Store
facing
bar
the aircraft.
on.
Two life
Ground
rafts
spoiler.
are also stowed on board. They are located under the aft.
Yeah, this guy's not pushing his back. It worked the other day when I did my test. So, oh, hang on to the parking brakes.
Are trained in the use of these rafts.
No, it's still not
Should
doing
you
it.
have any medical or dental concerns, or have recently
Let's just disconnect the pushback and we'll do it with.
Convenience items
And we're
available
disconnecting
for
the tow.
use,
Give me just a moment.
including phone access,
Warsaw Chopin,
power outlets,
7 Golf Alpha,
Wi-Fi
request
printer,
pushback to the right.
iPad.
Let's do that.
November 547 Golf Alpha. No pushback service available.
Okay, great. So we are actually going to have to do this differently. I was hoping the pushback would work, but it's gone all haywire for some reason. I'll have to do a turnaround on the ground. Reversers off. Emergency stabilizer. You have something down here. I think this is the elevator. But again, that blurry font's really not nice to look at. All disconnected. We'll just select on. We can't change
And
the
we're
cabin.
disconnected. Signal and pin on the left. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
Alright, thank you for nothing pushback. Yeah, so we can't actually do much in the pressurization at all. We can't even set the pressurization altitude, even if we go onto environmental control. Oh my goodness, now it's not clicking on there. Oh my goodness. This is what happens when you got, I think, bad C++ programming, guys. It all goes wrong. Anyway, engine bleed air should be on for the engine start. I don't understand who would have them off. Let's take them on. The master controls, so master switch on. I'm going to go for a right engine start. Pray it works this time. Engine coming alive, the fuel's coming in. We should have it on the here as well. We should have. There it is. Again, absolutely alright at lower level RPM, but it's still very, very bad even at low RPM. I like it though, I do like the plane, it looks very good on the outside. We can't just give them credit for looking good on the outside, guys. It does need to be functional, it does need to sound good as well. Also, going about the graphics again from the co-pilots view, you look over there and the cabin disappears, so there's incomplete texturing and modelling. That is not very good at all, is it? Being harsh and critical, but I think overall this is a positive review. If you can believe it, it is. Yeah, so it's hard to handle, I think, overall. I think it's just figuring out what works and what doesn't that's part of the problem. Let's do the stall warning. Stall works and it does in fact shape them, which I like. Stall 1 and 2 doesn't work at all. Let's go back to PFD, we're going to select. I'll leave it on there, let's just keep an eye on our flight controls. The engine started, so we can get the packs on. We probably don't even need to check this, guys. They're saying check things like PSI, but we already had enough pressure there to start. Yeah, so that's done. Taxi lights. Angle of attack, we don't need this now, I don't think. And probably window heat. All the fuel pumps. Let's do the inter-tank as well. So as you can see, it's all coming in line. I think we're safe to disconnect the APU bleed there now. Let's disconnect the power, let's stop the APU. Brilliant, so it's actually going pretty well. You can see the lights. Again, very, very good. But the landing lights, I have to say, are extremely bright, probably too bright. That's my only criticism, I think, is the too bright lights. Oil pressure, PTU, don't know what it is. So we got 3,000 on it, and the left engine start is complete. Let's just check these off. We know all this is checked. We just took the pitos, flight controls. You don't have full range of motion if you're using hardware either, which I don't like. Of course, we've got rudder controls, all the ailerons. Even with centre rudder on this, it does drift. Ground spoiler is checked, we've now armed it for takeoff. Stall bar, flight controls, yaw damper on engine. Not engine, sorry, engaged. What am I talking about? Standby power, we can't do much with the emergency power either. We can turn it on, but we can't arm it. A little bit bizarre. Unless it is already armed. Standby power, we'll just check it again, it works. I don't think we need that on transponder. So, 1, 2, 3 there, that should make up a random one. We're going to put it on TA only now, and then we'll put it on TARE when we're on takeoff. Okay, let's get going. Heavy aircraft, we are going to need much power today. That's so nice, isn't it? Those engine sounds. Just wait till we get in the air, guys. I promise it's not as tasty. We've had the safety demo and the welcome on board message. I said about the auto throttle as well. Well, we'll see that in flight, how it constantly adjusts the speed. We now should be armed. Cool. Just taxi into runway 11. A huge plane, and it does take some time to get used to the handling, but it is, I think, overall, for a big jet, actually really fun to fly. And I think AKD Studios have nailed it. You know, there are problems, but those problems, honestly, in the bigger picture, I think the level of depth and the realism and the similarity to the real Gulfstream is incredible, considering they haven't had any input from Gulfstream. In fact, they've had the opposite. One thing I would ask for, if you're purchasing the product, maybe give us some more liveries, because we're paying for it. Maybe give us, I know they're available to download after you bought, but realistically we should be getting them with the paid products on the sales page. Give us some more documentation, give us some more fixes on the graphics, and I think we're good to go. Like, overall so far it's a good easily a 4 out of 5 so far. I just wait till my final verdict at the end, guys, and hopefully you know, you either agree or disagree with me. Ground spoilers. They will deploy when you got idle thrust. That's a feature of a rejected takeoff. And when we advance power, they retract. Okay, parking brake sent. Give me a minute, guys. I'm going to step away. I'm going to try and check the YouTube chat and see if anybody's here. But as I say, this is a pretty much one-way stream. If anybody wants to looking at getting the aircraft, this is for them, and this is also for me for a test flight. So I'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, I'm back. So, going back to these sounds, as you can tell on the outside, they're already a little bit on the rough side, to be honest, which is a shame, to say the least. I hope I'm streaming this live for you guys, or at least available for catch-up. I think I am. I really hope to God I am, otherwise everything will be wasted. I wonder if it's not working. Oh my goodness. Saying I'm broadcasting, the question is where am I broadcasting? Maybe it's just because it's not approved on YouTube or something. Okay, for some reason it's streaming to the wrong stream. I have no idea why. That is so annoying, isn't it? I literally selected the Gulfstream. Oh god. Big boo-boo on my part, guys. So that means the whole stream will be recorded on the wrong thing, but I'll have to go and change it after this. I have to switch all the stuff around. Damn, that's annoying. Anyway, that's fine. It's a pre-recorded thing then, rather than live, which is a little bit better. But yeah, that's it. That'll explain why this has not been live, guys. So if you are watching this, I appreciate you watching the review. It will be a catch-up now while I change that information across. A little bit of a pain in the ass, but it happens, doesn't it? We all make mistakes. Good God, man, that's a huge mistake. Right, let's get going. So we're going to keep taxiing to the runway 11. You'll see the beautiful pulse lights. Just a word of note, guys, I actually don't mind doing this on pre-recorded. It's a little bit easier for me. Here we have the sound of the flaps. It's quite loud. Again, some good animations there on the flap system. We checked the brakes. You can check it down here on the lower left screen. So brakes, and that'll give you the pressurization. Make sure when you are checking them that you are going into the full 3000. So it's not on there. We may need to just pressurize the hydraulics. I'm pretty sure we should have at least... there we go. Now we turn the hydraulics on. It's slowly pressurized. So there's that realism again. As I say, they have put a lot of effort into it. So with the hydraulics, it doesn't happen instantly. But it is odd that we're having to do that when the engines are on. As you can see, we've pressurised them now. That's brilliant. Flaps are set. Everything there. We can't do anything about the pressurisation. Again, a lot of power required to get moving. Flight controls are checked. Transponder to TARA. Let's do that now. Radar, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, guys. It really doesn't. Like, you can have it on weather and it just doesn't show anything. That's a little bit of a disappointment, unfortunately. V-speeds and ICAS checked. It says there's a fuel input balance, fuel into the tank with the valve open. So this is why I usually like to have the crossfeed on. The crossfeed will balance out any imperfections and imbalances. Right, next checklist is the climb, guys. Let's get going. Really going to be able to hear just how loud it is. I would agree with some of the YouTube reviews so far, but I think overall, actually, some of them have been quite critical of what is generally a very good aircraft. Tracking runway 11. Our departure, we could check it on the charts if we so choose, and also they have IV tab integrated here, which I love. But today we're going to skip the departure charts, we're just going to hand fly it, and we'll see just how hard it actually is. Okay, go back down here, we need the flight controls active, and when we get in the air we're going to retract. Obviously the gear, the flaps, the guidance panel set. Cabin pressurization, I don't really know how to change it, we can't change it. Ground spoilers will come off, cabin things, all the exterior lights, seatbelts and no smoking signs after about 10,000 feet. Ground handling though is very, very good. Considering they can't make a round shape or a round wheel, which is it's surprising really. They shouldn't reinvent the wheel, should they? But it handles extremely well. It's a responsive aircraft on the ground. Unfortunately it can't be said for the air. I'm going to see how unresponsive it actually is, guys. It's heavy, it's a beast, maximum weight of 41,000 takeoff. You know, this is probably the second biggest jet I've ever flown. Second biggest private jet I've ever flown. So we're lined up, sort of. I'm going to do a little bit different, bit of power to get us going, and then I'll release the brakes. So with the honeycomb throttle quadrant, you'll notice you have to put the throttles quite a lot forward. As you can see, I'm moving them. You can't see, but it's not making any impact on the engines whatsoever until you get about halfway up, which is something again that needs fine tuning. Right, we've got our strobes. Let's turn the strobes on. Everything else is looking good. I think we turned the master start switch off. Cross-check influence. There's a different thing there over here. The co-pilot of mine. I'm not sure how to get rid of that. There should be a way, it'll be up here somewhere, but we can't. Oh, weather radar. So yeah, there's something that doesn't function. 20 degrees of flaps, let's go. So we can follow the guidance system. Airspeed is alive. 80 knots. 120. Whoa, V1. Rotate. And again, we're needing a lot of input on the yoke. Gear is coming up. You see, I'm actually pushing quite heavily forward now on the controls, and it's not pitching down. I've got the autothrottle on. What we're going to do is going to tune the autothrottle now so it'll hold the speed. So we'll click this button on the side of the thing. It's a little bit hard to find it, and that should maintain the speed we need. Is about 160. Reducing thrust then when it shouldn't do it. So yeah, a little bit nice on handling on the takeoff. Set our tune, of course, heading that way as we follow the departure. Okay, flaps are coming up. Ground spoilers don't serve us in the air. And we're en route. Now, we have issues with the flight navigation system not being able to follow it. I'm using mostly trim here. The trim is extremely responsive in flight. The aircraft is also responsive, but when you get those higher power speeds on takeoff, it becomes difficult to overcome the thrust by pitching it down. Even now, as we fly, I'm struggling to pitch it down to 10 degrees. You have to push very, very hard. So autopilot, hopefully that'll work, and hopefully it'll just go straight up to 33,000 feet. It should do. 250, let's see if it follows the route. Pulse lights off. I'm going to turn the signal sounds off at 10,000 feet. It's on automatic on the anti-icing, but you can turn it on if you want to. Still got a fuel cross valve open, or fuel imbalance. What is our fuel at? Slightly left on the heavy on the left side, so that's fine. Cabin pressurization, again, you can't change it, it seems to be automatic, but it is accelerating. We should have put it into flight mode before we took off as well, to help pressurize it. Down here on the ground, I think this changes automatically when we set our arrival and our arrival airport. Cool. Coming up on our first waypoint, fingers crossed we can do this. It seems to be turning. Flaps are up. The sounds are actually not too bad today, they sound acceptable, but they're still very, very... almost like they took the recording of the engines from the outside and just didn't compress the sound at all, because it's, you know when sound's too loud, it starts to make that sort of clicking sound in the background, almost like it's, you know, exceeding what's possible, and that's what's happening. I think they've not compressed and adjusted the sound properly, so it's just an unedited recording, basically. Anyway, we are following the route as planned. Let's hope it stays on track. Leveling off for some reason, we should be continuing to climb at about 300 feet. We should be going up to 16 and then 28,000. So yeah, so far the autopilot's doing a well good job. Climb.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. However, we always recommend to keep your seatbelt fastened while you're seated. Thank you.
As I was working. So the sound cabin is not the sound cabin is not too bad. It sounds alright. It is a lot louder back here than I'd like it to be, but it's still alright. It's not the worst. It's only the outside I think that needs work. Otherwise you're going to be hearing that just. It sounds like they've added a phaser. The sound just sounds awful. Can we flush this toilet? I've seen some people do it. Secret button perhaps. Anyway, we're just checking back here. I wish we could turn the lights on. I think we have to use the vestibule lights in the cockpit. But yeah, fully functional, smoking, seatbelt signs. Just a brilliant. It really is a brilliant looking cabin. I think they've done a good job of it. It's not 4K PBR, no chances. It's probably not even HD, but it's very, very good for the value for money, I'd say. Tables again. We're going to fold a few out. We have 19 people on board. These are a little bit hidden. I wish they made it a little bit easier to see. And I'm going to put some music on. Only available in this region, by the way. You can only click it from this point. Okay, we got some rough weather. Again, we got the rough weather, but nothing's popping up on the META, on the weather radar, which should be popping up and showing us this. That does not sound good, does it? Jeez. Let's get all the anti-ice on. Oh, check me out, guys. I'm having a party right back here. Yes, this is pilot life. This is why you have a door between the cockpit and cabin. You can't hear the people partying in the back. This thing here, I'm not sure what this is for. I haven't used it. Oh, fuel quantity. Brilliant. Keep an eye on our warning system. We are flying this plane after all. I love the sound though. The sound in the cabin coming from the music. Just small touches like that, guys. And they've even got a jump seat. It's just a shame there's no... It really is a shame there's things like this down like the door. You just would not have the cockpit exposed. It's too dangerous in a plane that's this big. You know, you also need to give the pilots some privacy. If you are a Gulfstream pilot, you should let me know what it's like. Anyway, end of the song, guys, end of the party. 18,000 feet, that's probably a good sign to set standing pressure. It's not synced across all devices, there does not seem to be a way to do it. Clear of all clouds at the moment. Got the feeling, yeah. Well, I'm feeling good, guys. This is a nice plane to fly, it really is. I'm so glad I bought it as well. It is very fun. It's a huge jet. Sometimes it feels like you're actually working though. It doesn't feel like fun, which is always the point where you know something's gone wrong. It's gotta be improved with those circles, guys. Like, seriously. I don't know if it's the same studio, but there is another studio based in Warsaw, called AKD Studio, which is apparently more focused on Souls-like games. If that's the same developer, maybe they've given up on that and stuck to aviation stuff. Either way, it would be interesting if they kept updating it, improving things. Look at that, it's stunning. I think the music is finally over. Checklist wise, we've been following the inbuilt checklist. You have a few options for it. Lights are on, seatbelts, no smoking signs, altimeters are set. APU, if running not required, so we should really have that shut down after takeoff, like the Citation X. Not a problem. Power is set for cruise. We're going to let the autothrottle do it. Although you'll notice it won't be able to maintain a steady speed. But I think it's probably acceptable, but when it's adjusting the power so much, it's going to make the sound of the aircraft sound ridiculous at times. Anyway, pressurization, again, I don't know about that, we'll just have to wait and see. I think it's like maximum 6,000 feet anyway in this aircraft. Panel sweep. Yes, looking very clean indeed, nothing else to see. We've got our thing down here, weight and balance, which we can probably get rid of. So let's bin it. If they talk about the 4K PBR texturing, I've noticed that when people sell products and they sell that, that's usually because the majority of the quality textures are not high definition or 4K. It's because they put a few 4K textures in and they say that they put 4K textures in and they say that it's all 4K, if that makes sense, but actually it's one or two things. So in here it might literally just be the seats, that might be it, because it's not the flooring, it's certainly not the walls, because they haven't even modelled the walls here. And although I've been critical, like, you have got to remember they're selling this product for a price, and if it's not as good as a free product, then they need to, you know, improve it. Very good semblance to the real thing though. I say close to a 5 out of 5 on the resemblance. It really does look like the real cockpit. The cabin as well also looks like the real thing. Greatly resembles it. Handling is fun, just because it's a challenge. It's a bit heavier to fly, so it's like when you get in it, you kind of... I would say it's actually more difficult to control it than a 737. It sounds ridiculous, but it is. It just requires so. I mean, even the autopilot's trimming it nose down, and it's still not. Yeah, so the trim for takeoff is always wrong, and you're always trimming it nose down, basically. And then when you want to land, you have to pull back, and it doesn't do anything. Just basic quality of life things that should be in the basic model, I think. Anyway, enough of this chatter. Let's continue with the flight. It's not a very long one, as you can see. Not a very long one at all. To Look Airport. So guys, sit back, relax. Oh, we have 444 nautical miles. I may skip this part of this stream and just cut it out. We have 440 miles to go. I see our turbulence warning.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. We are now crossing the zone of turbulence. Please return your seats and keep your seatbelts fastened. Thank you.
It says weather radar's on, but nothing will appear on the radar. Even if you look at the map and see something here, nothing will appear on it. There's no green zone, there's nothing. There's minutes control. I actually flew from... oh, look at that departure, it's very good. I actually flew from Warsaw across to this airport the other day, now at Brest, one near Brest. Across south of Belarus. Okay, 0.8. I think this is probably too fast at this altitude for this aircraft, if I'm honest. If you remember all the others, like 737s and Citation, they never go this fast at this altitude. I find it hard to believe this aircraft could. Either way, slowing down to 0.8 Mach, as we break the clouds as well. Optimal cruise level, so we maybe be able to change it to 45,000 feet. I wonder if we can change it now, so we put flight level, maybe not 45, but at least 39,000. Flight level 39, oh it has changed, so we can change it, brilliant. Let's keep climbing then up to 33,000 feet. 39,000 feet. Get rid of the METAR, we're going to get METAR for the arrival airport. Turn the seatbelt signs off. There's no cruise altitude thing here, it would be nice to have that. They have climb and descend but no cruise. You also have a landing one. Again, just little features they could add in. Just look how stunning the X-plane looks though, it really brings it to life. Let's print that off. What are we looking at? 210 at 7 knots. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Okay, our speed is all over the place, so I suspect this is partly because we're going too fast at this altitude, so it's struggling to maintain it. Yeah, the controller, the MCP might work, but it's not the best autopilot, I think, from an aerodynamics and flight control point of view. It doesn't handle very well on the autopilot, and I don't think that's a real life thing, guys, because they don't make planes that are shit, excuse me, that are bad on autopilot mode. You know, they will work flawlessly when on autopilot. I suspect it's just because he keeps pitching up too steeply. Going to the yoke though, I do like the look of the yoke. I think there's a way to get rid of this clipboard, but I can't remember how to do it. No, there's a click region on here or something. So to remove it. Can't see the way to do it there, but it can be removed I think. Let's try maybe that. No, that's just the yoke. If you get rid of the yoke, by the way, it sticks the metal down there, which is useful. Again, those circles are just not proper circles, are they? It's really distracting. Yes, the lighting and shadows inside. That's so distracting, isn't it? They couldn't model that from this angle. It seems like they didn't anticipate people would sit in the co-pilot seat or even look at it from that angle, but realistically they would. I think the same thing will happen if you go through the wall as well, so yeah. They've not modelled some of the interior. And there's also a window here, again in this room, probably where storage is, where you put some bags and coats and things. They should really model it because it's realistically going to be able to see inside. And also here, this is sealed. The metal looks great, but it's just lacking the obvious thing, which is buttons to open the door. You can't interact with it and open it, which I find really mind-blowing. That you can't open the door from the inside without using the EFB. Actually, that's not true, guys. You can click it, but I'm talking about like having an unlock button near the door and a button to open it or something. The 3D signs on the exits are not there. They're missing the glass out of some of the lights. As you can hear, the sound there is actually quieter than the sound in the cockpit. Bizarre. Okay, 249, 39,000 feet. Let's keep an eye on our fuel. So 15,000 should be enough for the trip. Oh, performance calculator. I forgot about this. This is a very useful thing. And you can read the data from the sim and it'll come up with your landing and takeoff data value, which is the exact same. Let's just look actually at the flight reference. 144 for the landing. I think, yeah, this will be when we are selecting an approach. Let's do that now. So arrival. Let's select an approach while we have one available. Okay, it's got rid of it. VOR or DME. Let's go for ILS 08. A VANIC transition. And deck 1 Charlie. Activate that. As you see, it's now coming up. It's giving us a descent to 4,000 feet, so it won't descend automatically until you change it on the MCP. Okay, if we now go into the arrival thing here for performance, we can now get a landing speed of 144. And 154 on the VRAPs, very high speed because we're heavy aircraft. 144 has come up on the VREF, which is fine. If we want to add any more V speeds there, we can, or we can just change that. We're doing auto speed, we need to set radio minimums. Well, we'll get that in a minute when we get to the airport. We can go on Navi tab if we need to, and thankfully do it from there. Well, yeah, I've only ever flown into Chisinau once before, I think. More flights there would be nice. So, look, Chisinau International. Not exactly a private airport, but still. Look at the weather, guys. Thank goodness we flew early in the morning hours rather than late at night. How amazing is this? Should do more early flights, guys. I mean, going into winter, we're going to be snow. It's going to be dark early for me, so I might have to start using fake time from now on. QNH is 1015. Is that what we got on there? Yes, we have. It says tempo BKN 008. I think we tuned ILS at 08. That's automatic as well. This aircraft will tune it like a 777 or a 747. It will do it itself. We can use a navigational thing off there if we need to. For some reason there's no charts available, which is concerning. But yeah, if we need to, we can tune in like a DME or something. Let's keep that up there. Cabin lighting, we could turn on like the vegetable lights if we need to, which is also here for some reason in the cockpit. This is why there'd be a separate door, guys, so obviously the captain and the co-pilot are separate from the cabin lighting. There would not be shared lighting between them. I don't think there would be anyway. At least they put the glass on this one. See, anyway, vegetable lighting, it lights it up a little bit more, only in the entrance, not really much back here, and then I think it lights up, as I say before, the toilet area. Not really, no. Let's try the bathroom lights. Don't need cargo lights, up wash, down wash. Let's try them. Let's go from the pack seat. A little bit of lag, that's concerning. That's really, really bad lag actually. I just turned the lights on and the frame rate dropped to about 25. So yeah, there's definitely poor programming in this aircraft. Just turning the lights on like I did then, you can see it does in fact light that top bit up, which I was saying about before. But just turning the lights on like that should not make the airplane lag or lose frame rates over it. There's absolutely zero lights in these toilets. We've got those and that's about it. If I turn them off, it's probably going to go back to normal. We will use a downwash and upwash at some point. Yeah, so back up to normal frame rate. Again, that's abnormal. This has got to be bad programming and bad optimization. It's just got to be said. It's not been. They've not really put as much effort into it as they think they have. Sure, it's a good job, but there's still a lot of it that just kind of screams that they don't really. They just didn't put effort in, and they don't care. Which is a thing with developers nowadays. They seem to crank out things in the hope of getting money, but rarely do they actually put the effort in. And then you get three examples like the Felis T154B. Not only does it have a solid state aircraft, which is you know, you're not able to pass through walls, but you're able to interact with everything in that one. The graphics are high quality, and that's free, guys, so there's no excuse for it anymore. It's unacceptable for developers to continue to put out paid products when it's not even at the same quality of the free ones. If you agree with me, let me know. Okay guys, we're coming in now to look airport, Chisinau, Moldova. And it's been a pleasurable flight. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. 39,000 feet is going to adjust its course now. We're going to descend. When you select descend on this, i.e. change the altitude, it will just start descending immediately regardless of what we need to do. But we do actually need to descend, so we're going to do that now. We have about... we don't know how long. We have 83 nautical miles to get down to about 2,500 feet. The descent rate is fairly good, I'd say. It's not as bad as people say on the forums. I think it's flight level change that causes this issue, but even then, for me, I've not had any issues. The flight level change causing, like, you know, steep descents like they suggested. We may use this. We may use the hood. It is good. I think people are saying it's not good. Maybe need to just. I don't know what they want from it. It's a hood. You know, it's not going to be. A hood doesn't look great in real life either, guys. So. We have to be quite far forward, maybe that's why they don't like it. You do have to adjust your seat position to get all the information on screen. I'm sure there's a way to do that and to change it, but either way it's all there in the ILS and things will tune, so it needs to be sat about there, which is quite far forward. I would have liked to have seen adjustable seat positions as well, to adjust the armrest, and maybe if we could move the seats forward that would help. I can't imagine the pilots would sit this far back. We have got rails that go forward and back on here. Anyway, that's kind of where we need to be sat, I guess. We're going to keep it off for now, though. We may use it on final. If we do it on final, we will move a bit closer, but it depends what we feel like. Okay, so look is going to be inbound. Where are we now? We need to go left, don't we? So we have this one down here, then Chisinau down there. Unfortunately, we can't find something there, but I think the ILS will get tuned automatically as a saying to nav 1. I hope it does work. Anyway, descent checklist, we're going to do things like so no smoking signs realistically should be on all the flight, unless I just can't imagine anybody being allowed to smoke on a corporate jet or even any airliner, because it's banned now, isn't it? So I don't understand why they'd have the option on the checklist of no smoking when before landing. Yeah, it's too risky on an aircraft, guys. They don't smoke on corporate jets or private jets. I'm sure some people do, but it's not a smart thing to do. It's ending nicely, 4,000 feet a minute. The aircraft barely feels it as well. It's piercing through the air like crazy. Pressurization, so it is in fact descending already. Probably shouldn't be descending already because we are still at 30,000 feet. Now 6,000 feet cabin altitude is absolutely fine. We are in flight mode as well. If we change this to landing, that's when we start to depressurize fully. Landing elevation should be automatic. Based on when it locks into the localize, it should have done it by now because we're tuned in. We have it tuned into the arrival. So there we are, thank goodness it's working this time. As you can hear, the aircraft outside sounds good on low RPM and low thrust settings, but high thrust, it really sounds awful, guys. Thank you so much for everybody who's watching. I appreciate the developers' efforts, no doubt about it. It's done. They or he or she or one person have done a great job. I really like this plane. I'd say now I've got it, it's probably one of my favourites because it's different, and I don't think anybody's had the chance to model the Gulfstream before, even as an attempt. Let's get speed brakes extended. Let's slow us down a little bit. Yeah, so first attempt at a Gulfstream, it's quite a bold move to make. I want to see more from the developer on this aircraft though. I'd rather they would focus on fixing this one and making it 100% like great and making it super, a super aircraft to fly, but most developers don't. They tend to start new projects and I don't understand that. Surely it would be better to have a great product rather than a mediocre one, or even one that isn't very good, especially with some of these shapes and sounds and things. Like surely they know that it's better to come and work on this one than make a new one. It's certainly less effort, isn't it? By the way, I don't mean any offence to developers. You know, mediocre isn't an offensive thing to say. It just means it's not where we'd expect it to be for X-Plane 12. And you got to remember, everybody, I am reviewing this aircraft as somebody who's purchased it. I'm not reviewing it as somebody who's downloaded it for free. I'm reviewing it as somebody who wants to developers to take the feedback on board. So obviously everything I say is coming with good feedback for them to take on board and work on. It's not here to just to make them look bad. No way. As I said it over and over during this episode, we are enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. It is very good. Ground spoilers are armed. When we deploy the flaps, it will slow down automatically. We have our flight reference. ID nav aid tuned. We can actually do all this. An ID waypoint, airport. Even gives you the angle of attack down there. That's incredible. So obviously this is not what I'm used to. I think these are meant to be based on the Honeywell avionics. Honeywell avionics, I think they're based on. It would be good to see a sign up here, perhaps saying Honeywell up there. Although again, there's the copyright and the trademark issues, isn't there, with the company names. Ground spoilers, brakes. We're going to check those, make sure we're pressurised on the brakes. We've got at least 3,000 psi, yeah. So we charged them up earlier, now it's pretty much sorted. Again, trimming those down considerably. Set for landing, we'll do that when we get closer. It's VREF 144 plus 5. Warning inhibit. I'm not sure about this. Sometimes I get a ground proximity warning at something like 2.5 to 3,000 feet, which is not correct. It shouldn't be given those warnings, but you can inhibit the glide slope. There's a general warning inhibit there as well, along with radial altimeter. But again, going back to the ground proximity warning, it shouldn't be triggered at 2,500 feet. Flight controls checked. Do need to descend quite a lot, so let's go for a flight level change. See how quickly it does it. At least on this mode we can change. Oh no, we can't change the speed. My mistake. Usually you can change it when you've not got vertical navigation on. I suspect we'll have to disengage the auto throttles. I think that might be the toga button, is it? Or this is like a little bit confusing down here about what we're meant to do. It's looked very, very nice here, doesn't it? Gives you the impression that you're in a high-end corporate job. So there we are, Vanip down to centre fix. Pretty much straight into final then. Hopefully we can descend a little bit quicker, so maybe a vertical speed will do it. Let's try 3,000 feet a minute. We're going to have to slow down to 250. Again, I think it's automatic from what I've been seeing. So it should automatically slow down to 250 when we're below 10,000 feet. I think the speed thing is also off because you'd realistically slowing down to probably about yeah, there we go, 250. You would slow down well before this point because otherwise you won't be able to slow down enough in time. It is in there, the FMS speed, which we could have changed at any time as well. Reset altitude set, no thank you. Seatbelts, landing lights, which are way too bright. You need to make them a little bit,
Ladies and gentlemen,
a bit less bright.
please make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened. Our cabin crew are currently passing around the cabin to make a final compliance check. Thank you.
.110.3. This should automatically be tuned in. We're going to tune it into nav 2 anyway. Let's see if it can handle this. So 110.3. We have that of one tuned on nav 2. Actually, these seem to be synced so automatic, so it's on auto mode. I'm sure you can put it on manually. Both synced. I think we leave it on FMS for the approach. Although I suppose if you select navigation 1, that's also going to be useful. Let's just leave it on FMS and see if it will handle it. We're going well too fast as well. We're like 300 knots. I'm going to deploy notch of flaps, so as you can see the speed there is automatically decreased at 180. This is probably going to give us a good VREF speed, so it's going to give us our automatic speeds. We'll just take control of the controls and we'll hopefully... I kind of want to keep control of the throttles as well, but I know for a fact that I just know it's going to go wrong. We probably need to take control of them. If we don't, it probably won't disconnect. Okay, sync rate for some reason is coming online. We're not actually near the ground, guys. 1015, we're not even that low down. That's bizarre. Just turn VNav back on. 1015. Even for 2,500 feet, we seem like we're well too low down. I do have my doubts about the functionality of this autopilot. I don't actually think it's doing it correctly because we can't be at 2,500 feet. No way. We're at 2,300 feet, so it's not accurate. Probably because we're over the high hills. Let's hopefully get it back to normal. Yeah, but it just seems really like too low down. If we were 2,500 feet in the Citation X or even the 737, it would be considerably higher than this. Okay, there's our turn. Let's make sure the rudder is centered. The feet are on controls, hands on the yoke. We'll assume we are at 2,500 and it hasn't screwed us over. Low visibility approach, 2,500 feet. I'm going to engage the approach mode where we're on the final, or maybe even the center fix. Flap limitations are up here. We're actually missing a compass. I'm not sure if that's deliberate or if they generally don't have one in the Gulfstream, but I'm pretty sure most aircraft will have a magnetic compass up here somewhere. The limitations are at 250 for 10. We should technically be at 39 degrees of flap, so I think the slowdown speed is a bit too much. It probably should have slowed us down to about 220. For some reason it's gone up to 180. Let's do 220 over 2,500. Again, 250, that cannot be right on the speed. Okay, it's adjusted it now. Yeah, still not going back up to 220 as programmed. Damn, that's a little bit disappointing. You see it's struggling to keep that lift. Again, not sure if the Gulfstream doesn't have these or not, but there's no window wipers here. If you are like familiar with the aircraft, obviously I can look it up on the internet myself, but if you are familiar, what is realistic here and what isn't, that cannot be, what on earth is going on there, guys? Blind, there's like a hole in the middle of the flight deck. Got one on this side. No, this side's got one as well. How odd. This texturing above the panel, I really want them to at least, heck, just put some of the same stuff here that's there. The exact same stuff. Okay, I think we may have to take control of the throttle. It's going absolutely crazy. We can get it disengaged. Come on. Alright, there we go. I'm going to do it myself so we can speed up a little bit. It's very powerful, so it's really like... sometimes it is hard to gauge just how much power you need. But we are 19 packs on board, 23 people. We still have a shed ton of fuel on board. We still have like 13,000 kg on board. Okay, wind, what's the wind? It's on there, isn't it? So it's 210 at 7 knots. Anti-ice is off. Next landing weight. Okay, we're a little bit over our maximum landing weight. The maximum landing weight is 38,000. Sorry, 34,000. We're at 38. Let's see how it handles it. We may burst a tyre or two. We need to select. Yeah, landing mode is automatically selected. I'm going to turn the auto back to auto. Probably works based on if there's ice. Not everything is interactable, by the way. I know people are curious about that. We're going well too fast again. Again, it's that power setting. It's very hard to tell. We might as well select approach mode and just see how it goes. Approach mode is activated on the localizer. Is it going to be able to line up? 08. Quite a small airport. There's no auto brakes in the aircraft, so it's probably going to be full reverse, spoilers and a bit of braking, manual braking. The glide slope, we're still very, very fast. There's the runway. I'm going to maintain thrust setting. We got full flaps, gear down, very loud. .000 feet, we got the call outs, which is great. To burn that speed off rapidly. Okay, autopilot's coming off. Let's see if we can control this thing. Oh, I should have inhibited that. Let's inhibit.
Approaching minimums. 10 miles. Approaching minimums. 10 miles.
Very heavy. Very heavy.
100.
Well low. Let's try and butter it.
40. 30. 20. 10.
versus spoilers. $80 knots. Don't get the call outs on the ground, but that's fine. Versus disengage, we're going to do manual braking. Let's try and get off at the next taxiway. Flaps are coming up. Yeah, not bad at a touchdown that. I actually thought we did pretty well, considering how fast and low we came in. Turn the ground spoilers off. Taxi lights on. I'm going to watch the replay. I want to see how bad or good that was. Anti-ice can probably, I think, all come off at this point. It says left and right alternate boost pumps off. Blimey, there's the end of the runway, guys. We almost went off. It looks brilliant though. Chisinau Airport, so high up. That's an amazing feeling though. It's heavy on the controls, but it feels good to fly. It feels really good, especially coming into land. The APU master switch is on. I think we simply forgot to turn it off. Let's get it started. Let's make sure the isolation valve is open. Strobes can come off. Bleed air as required and brake temps. Let's see. We didn't really use the brakes, so we should be good. 73. There's nothing there popping up as a warning. That's what we need to keep our eye out for. Okay guys, straight to the terminal. I hope you enjoyed that flight. That was really satisfying. I'll hopefully do some more in this over the coming week. APU bleed air coming on. We can leave the engine bleed air on, that's fine. Are we meant to start? It's already started. Let's switch over to the APU generator. I think we can leave these on. I'll leave it off and then we'll just turn it to the APU when we get to parking. Anyway, there's a completely separate runway here. I'm gonna have to go down this runway because I don't think that's gonna take us to parking, that other one. Yeah, 2 runways at Chisinau. One's actually pretty big, the other one's still suitable for the aircraft, but not as big. We clicked landing, didn't we? I don't think we did. We clicked descent. I don't think we clicked the landing one. That's unfortunate, but we're on the ground anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our destination airport. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign and we have parked at our parking stand. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for flying with AKD Studios 550. It's been a real pleasure to engage with such a well-built and in-depth aircraft that, as this one, although lacking in texture quality in places and some programming issues, it really is a top aircraft. I'm really excited to see where we're going to go with the next flights, guys. See if we can actually keep this thing going on the channel. Alright, I'm going to turn the... all this is coming off. Window heats, pitos, probably because we're going to do a full shutdown. What they got there? KLM, Alitalia, United Airways. Angle attack. It says that the probes have failed. I don't think they should fail when you turn the heat off. They should simply cool down. APU door, all that's come online nice and well. Okay guys, I never landed at Chisinau in the daytime, at least as far as I remember. I'm pretty sure it was night time last time. Anyway, there's Chisinau. We're going to park up somewhere there. Hopefully a VIP parking will be available. It's not exactly VIP, but it'll do. Oh, look at that. X-plane. It looks like we're going to have to dump the passengers out here on the ramp. We paid a lot of money for this flight, so we just have to leave them here, unfortunately. We could be bothered to taxi down there, but the pilots are just a little bit tired, aren't they? Okay, I'm going to turn the taxi lights off. We're in the parking zone. Idle on the engines. Parking brake set. Let's follow the checklist. So parking brake is set. The transponder. Standby mode. We could squawk 7,000 again just to clear it for the next crew. PTU. Again, I'm not sure what that is. PTU, not on. It's like emergency power. Standby. The TRU there. I'm not really sure what that is. It says AC on it. Right, let's get these things turned off. Satellite comms, the cameras. See about no smoking sign. We'll do the goodbye one when we open the door. Radar, again, it doesn't seem to function. It doesn't seem to come with the weather. I'm sure they can fix these things. Turn that off. Main entrance door. Okay, we have to go up here and open it. Safety. There's no open button, so let's see if we can do it from the inside. There should be a way to do it. The click zone is not very obvious. There's no obvious way to do it, but you can do it. Brilliant. That's going to save us a lot of stress. Oxygen systems. I don't know where that is, guys. I have no idea. Nose wheel power. I think we had it off the whole time. Nope, it was on, so we'll turn that off. I'm actually going to do the gust lock as well. It's going to lock the controls in place. IRSs. It's not going to be a complete shutdown, because not a complete checklist shutdown, because they're missing many things off of it. The good thing is we followed the flight from A to B and it worked for the most part. Display systems. So with the checklist, you really, I mean, the checklist tells you to turn them off, but then you can't see the checklist. Navs and beacons coming off. I'm just going to turn it all off. And that'll be better. I'll leave ground power on at the moment. Chocks are set.
Ladies and gentlemen, please check around your seat for any personal belongings you may have brought on board with you. On behalf of our AKD Studio airline and the entire crew, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Thank you, and come again to AKD Studios 550. Right, we're shutting down the APU at last. We can probably shut the generators off there. I thought that was automatic. Turn that all off in there. We'll leave the cabin lights on. Not that it's going to make a difference since it's daytime. Ah, there we go. So systems are off. Packs are waiting for the car to come and pick them up. The cabin lights. Turn the lights off. Just the APU, GPU is on the ground. I think that's pretty much safe for us to turn the batteries off as well. Yeah, main tanks on the fuel. APU. That's it, guys. We just got the ground power on. I'll leave it like that. We still got a few lights we can turn off, I guess. And a warning system, even though there's no displays available. Right, guys, let's bin that. This has been a really different flight than I expected. It's gone a lot smoother. Let's just check the cabin, make sure people haven't left anything. Unfortunately, they didn't follow the instructions and shut the toilet door. Let's go. Actually, we need to get the cargo out, don't we? So let's go to the back. Let's just open that for the cargo unload. Oh, we don't need to keep that open. Keep the keys locked in a safe place so nobody steals our private jet. And of course the shutter for the next people coming. Brilliant. I can't see the van out there. Is it coming to pick them up? Anyway, past the lovely marble worktops and the sinks. We still got a warning going off in the cabin. Like, give it a rest, Gulfstream. Wind it. Hey, just in time, Gulfstream pickup crew. Nice, thank you so much. Looks like they got a bit of a low tire down there. I have no idea what's going wrong, other than not turning the fuel off. That's such a stupid mistake to make. There was no sound though. There's absolutely no sound coming out of it. Plus, you had no fuel pumps on. I have no idea why that was doing that. You know what? Let's just get rid of ground power. We'll leave it plugged in. Deboarding now. Nice shutdown sounds, which are playing at the correct time. Oh man. Nose we're steering, is it straight on? We got the gust lock on? No, it's not quite straight. I'm sure we'll be fine. Right, I'm going to summarise the points. You know what I've said so far if you've been watching it, and if you are considering this. I think it's been an in-depth and fair review. I actually do want to finish by saying I really congratulate the developer, AKD Studios, whether it's a single individual or people in a group. You know, they've done a great job despite some of the flaws in the aircraft. I think they've done a great job. It's such an in-depth thing and the systems are well made. It handles quite well. It's fun to fly, and that's the main thing I think. It's fun and it doesn't feel like you're struggling to understand it, which some developers do actually make you do that. Then you know it's a good plane overall. But unfortunately, I would say get it not at full price, but just get it on sale, because there is incomplete modelling. There's not really that many liveries with it. There's still bugs in there, and there's still those low quality textures, and the fact that they haven't got proper circles or wheel shapes, it's kind of like those are the fundamentals really of the aircraft, you know, to get wrong. I think just get it on sale is how I would recommend getting it. I want to see where the AKD Studios goes with their updates coming thick and fast every couple of months. It seems like they might support this for quite a while, and hopefully if they do make another aircraft for Explained in the future, they really take back a feedback on board, and of course listen to the customers and the community. We are the ones who fly it, we experience it. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but it does have to at least tick some fundamental boxes, which I think it does. So overall, I'm actually going to give it probably, I was going to say 4 out of 5, maybe 3.9 out of 5 is fair enough. So it's quite good. I think the handling is actually 4 out of 5. The way it looks in terms of realism and external, internal, it's a good 5 out of 5. The system's depth again is a good 4 out of 5. So overall, a very good aircraft. The shapes and some of the textures and the sounds, though, they're probably 3 out of 5 for me. So that's my final 4, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this. It's been a long one. I was